So in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to register your own domain name and get started with that. So if you're not familiar, a domain name is basically the URL you type in for a website. So I need a freaking website.com, Amazon.com, all of those are domain names, and that's just a way for people to find your website. So for you'll need to think about what you want your domain name to be. Um, Obviously, nowadays, a lot of the very common naming structures are taken, like Amazon or eBay. Shorter names with less letters in them are likely going to be taken. So, if your business has a name that is shorter, you might have to get creative. If my business was called Amazon, I'd have to say something like myamazon.com, something like that. Once you have a domain name picked out and you're ready to go, you can move forward with the next step, which is registering your domain name. So you'll need to do that at the same place that you get your hosting from, which we'll do after we register the domain name, but let's go ahead and do that first. So I actually have a partnership with Bluehost where you can get dirt cheap hosting for only $2.95 a month. So I highly recommend Bluehost as your hosting provider and your domain name registrar. They're very easy to work with, and that's who I'm going to walk you through right now. So to get started, go to ineedafreakinwebsite.com/Bluehost, and that will take you to my special partnership page with Bluehost. And all you got to do is come in here and click Get Started. And that will take you to the plans page. On the plans page, you'll see 4 different plans, each with different kind of storage sizes and speeds. For your purposes, you're only going to want the basic one, which is $3.95 a month when you sign up for 3 years at a time. That's the only way you can get that $3.95 a month. Otherwise, you're going to pay $8.99 per month unless you pay for 3 years up front. But that is an insane deal, and I highly recommend signing up for those 3 years right off the bat because it's just such a good deal. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and move forward with right now. So I'm going to click on that, and it will take me to the domain setup page. So as we talked about earlier, go ahead and type in here the domain that you would like your website to be. So I'm going to go ahead, and the site I am going to be making as an example is called Beagle Brands. So I'm going to type that in here, and I want the .com address in there. You might want to look at these and think about if you don't want a .com, if you want .online, .site, those are all available for you as well. I recommend sticking with .com as that is just the most common usage. But if you want to explore some other options, there are options available. So we're going to move forward with Beagle Brands here and click Next. And that'll take you to the next page. And depending on what your domain name is that you want, it will either tell you that domain is available. If that domain already exists, it's going to tell you, nope, that's not going to work. So you're going to have to go back and choose a different domain name. But for me, Beagle Brands is available. I'm very lucky, so I'm going to move forward with that one. If we scroll down here, it's just going to want some basic information about you and your business just so that you can register your domain name. If you have a Google account you want to just sign in with and autofill this information, go ahead and do that. It'll just save you a little bit of time. Otherwise, fill in your information here. Just keep in mind that a lot of this information will show up in a registrar that's publicly available. So right now, depending on which website you go to, you can usually look up who has registered that website, and this type of information will show up. If you don't want that to show up and you want to remain private, this extra option under package extras is going to be what you want. So domain privacy and protection, if you select that for 99 cents a month, that will protect your personal information from popping up there. It will just kind of put in placeholder information from Bluehost there instead of your information. Whether or not you do that is totally up to you and what you're comfortable with. Me personally, I don't really worry about if someone's going to look up that kind of information or not. So I usually do not purchase something like that, but again, that is totally up to you. I'll take you through kind of some of these other options. So right here is your package information. As we talked about, you're going to get $3.95 per month but you're going to buy 3 years of that upfront. So it's going to cost a total of $142, which I know might seem like a lot as a lump sum, but again, if you divide it by 36 months, that's only $3.95 a month. You can't really get better than that. The primary domain registration, they're going to go ahead and register for you for free. And then the SSL certificate is also going to be free. So we'll go through SSL certificates later, but basically those are just a way to keep your website super secure. It makes this little lock icon appear in the address bar. That just indicates to people that your website is secure. So if you're going to set up an e-commerce site or something like that, that's extra important. But regardless, even if you don't have a shop to set up or anything like that, Google has started taking into account if you have an SSL certificate installed on your website. So if you don't have one, you are going to appear lower in the search rankings. So definitely important there, and definitely really good that they include that for free. Some extra package options. So as we talked about, there's that domain privacy protection that you can enable or disable. There's a CodeGuard basic thing that will kind of protect your website. I don't really recommend that. We're going to go through how to keep your website secure and prevent it from getting hacked in a later lesson. So you don't really need that. Again, if you really want it, go for it, but you don't need it. SEO tools down here, again, totally not necessarily. We're going to go through SEO tools later. And then also they put in here a 365 mailbox trial for 30 days, totally unnecessary. Again, in a later lesson, I'm going to show you how to set up a personal email address with your domain. So what that means is if I wanted to set up info@beaglebrands.com, I can do that. So I'll teach you how to set that up later with Bluehost. Then, if all of that looks good to you, make sure you fill in your information correctly and choose the right package options that you want. Go ahead and enter in your payment information, and that'll take you to the next page.